My Juicy Life is about living a life of purpose and passion. This is so great. Hello, welcome to My Juicy Life. I am your host, Lilou Mace. In this episode, you will discover some new tools to empower your life. So take out your notebooks and get ready to meet Kevin Ross, one of the juiciest motivational speakers out there and originally from Chicago. Kevin Ross will share with us the secret to living the designer life, and will also speak about the law of attraction from the movie The Secret. So let's get started and let's see how Kevin became the juicy man that he is now. Let's take a sneak peek at Kevin's past. Kevin Ross grew up from humble beginnings on the south side of Chicago. While his family was short on money, they were always loaded with love. Kevin quickly learned to be responsible for creating his future. Since then, he has been on a mission to teach people to design and live their boldest dreams ever. Growing up with a gift for gab, Kevin Ross was spotted by the legendary Dr. Johnny Coleman in Chicago, who gave him the opportunities as a young boy to speak in church.
Christ Universal Temple is and was the largest church in the city of Chicago. It is the largest New Thought church in the world of its kind. It's not a church, it's actually a mega church, and it seats thousands and thousands of people, 5,000 as we know.
Then, through a youth program led by international motivational speaker Les Brown, Kevin gained power, experience, and connections, which led him to a positive example for youth across the country. Following the footsteps of his hero and mentor, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Kevin enrolled at Morehouse College. Kevin became the first male to graduate college on either side of his family. Since that day, Kevin continues to believe that nothing is impossible. He continued to develop his speaking career throughout college and has been mentored by the very best: Les Brown, Mark Victor Hansen, Jack Canfield. Kevin is now an author, inspirational speaker, peak performance coach, mentor, youth activist, humanitarian, and minister at Unity Church in Kansas. So get ready! So for me, this is the best way to get the energy pumping and high. But now let's get to the real juicy stuff. Here is Kevin.
Hi, Lilou.
Kevin, it's so good to see you.
Finally.
Chicago.
Yes,
Here I am
yes,
in your hometown. Can you believe this?
Yes, I can. I'm so glad you're here, too.
After we met in Miami.
Yes, and I don't know what possessed you to come here other than Garrett's Popcorn, because it is hot and beautiful in Miami, but I know it's awesome here too in Chicago.
Yeah.
I love it.
And what did we say? Life gets as good as Garrett's popcorn.
Absolutely.
Stop.
We got a bag of Garrett's Popcorn. It is so great. I couldn't wait. Because life is good as a bag of Garrett's Popcorn. And Lilou, this is the juicy life.
So Kevin, tell me a little bit more about the designer life. What is it?
The designer life, Lilou, is a life that each person designs out of his own desires. Rather than living your life out of what someone else has made up for you or decided for you, you're really designing your life out of what you truly desire. And that's very different for many people, because people make it their business to do what their parents want them to do what society wants them to do, rather than what's really within them. And it's tough because it takes a little more courage to do what you really desire rather than what seems to be the tried and true path, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really a life of fun, a life of purpose, a life of passion, a life of enjoyment, a juicy life. Yes, yes, of course. This is what the designer life is. And I also add it's a spiritual life, because that life has you following something bigger than yourself. Yeah.
Wow. So it seems easy when we hear you say that, but why do you think we limit ourselves? Like, it always seems like, oh, this sounds good, but do I really deserve this? Do we deserve such a great life? Isn't that selfish even to think and ask for more?
Well, let's go back to that first question. We limit ourselves because others give us ideas of who we really are. When you really get to know who you really are, if you could just take a minute, back up a little bit, and recognize that you have unlimited potential, you have unlimited possibilities, rather than what someone else's framework of you is. But rather just catch a glimpse at the beginning of time that you were an idea, a brilliant idea. In fact, all of us are bright ideas. Let's just say you were an idea in God's mind. You're in God's mind, and God is dreaming you up. Do you think God would have dreamed up this limited, stuck, broke, unhappy, depressed individual? Or if you were a bright idea, would it be something with life and vigor and vitality and fun and outgoing and juicy, right? All right. So part of that is we allow ourselves to buy into concepts that don't work, or that didn't serve someone in our families, okay? Or in life in general. How do we break through these limited concepts of ourselves? We supersize our vision of ourselves. So let's just say if you said you wanted to work at a Fortune 500 company, maybe you want to own one. Okay. If you said you wanted to go and see a show on Broadway, maybe you want to perform on stage on Broadway. You supersize your vision of your life and allow yourself to just fall in love with the concept, fall in love with the idea. Just get full of the feeling. Because when you're full of the feeling of what it is you really desire, fulfillment brings fulfillment. That is, when you're full of the feeling, whatever you get full of, you fulfill.
All right.
In your outer experience.
Okay. So the more you feel it, the more you're visualizing, the more you're speaking it, the better.
Absolutely. Because you will run over. It'll just pour out into your life all around you. Absolutely.
I love that idea.
You'll just start pouring out everywhere, and it'll be you. Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness.
The good stuff, the good stuff.
The good stuff.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you were saying dream big, and why is it so important? Dreaming big again and keeping the end in mind. Because I often heard you say that, and I read it in Living the Designer Life. Like, you have to keep the end in mind.